Hey everybody, Reese Gerwin here with a Fretboard Forensics, and today I want to start by thanking all of you who have subscribed to my channel. I'm over 200 subscribers, and that's pretty awesome. I am here to tell you that you may be learning scales the wrong way on guitar, and the reason is probably because the way you're thinking about them. Perhaps you don't understand what a scale actually is. Maybe you don't know that the major scale is one pattern as opposed to a bunch of different patterns. Now it looks like a bunch of different patterns, but really this page right here is all you need to know as far as the major scale goes. You can learn 3 note per string through this. You can learn all of your positions, you can learn all of your keys, you can learn all of the modes, the diatonic modes, of course. Now, this is also going to be helpful for learning pretty much every other scale. So I highly recommend you spend time memorizing the major scale, 100%. If there's any scale you should really be working on, it's either the major slash minor, you see that it says major slash minor, or the pentatonic scale, which is also the major slash minor scale without 2 notes. But if you learn to apply these scales, the pentatonic scale and the major and minor scale, then you're pretty much fluid on the fretboard, and there's all kinds of ways to practice it. But this, my videos usually, lately anyway, have been about how do you learn it? How do you think about it? How do you apply the theory of all of this? So what I'm going to do is start with this circle right here. This circle represents the major scale. If you have a C right here, then this is your C major scale. If you have a D right here, this is your D major scale. It doesn't matter what note this open circle is. It represents the root of the major scale, just like this circle with an X represents the root of a minor scale. So any note that you put in one of these will yield that scale. This circle represents the 12 pitch half step circle, okay? So the reason it is important to understand is because it shows you that this is one pattern. The entire scale itself is just the same pattern, and the guitar is a grid, okay? It's just a mathematical grid. It's kind of a strange grid that you put your fingers on, but the yield of this pattern is all of these fingerings that lay onto this grid, and that's what this one entire page is. So this circle is a half step circle. So if this is C, this is C sharp or D flat, this is D, D sharp or E flat, this is E, this is F, F sharp, G flat, so on and so forth. So if this open circle is a C, all of these are natural notes. And of course, you have a whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. Okay, so that would be the equivalent to moving either 2 frets on the guitar. So this is a whole step or a half step. So whole step, half step. And that's how, right? If I were to play, let's say that this is E, and I'm going to play every single one of these nodes on the circle, right? There's 12 nodes because there's 12 notes. 12 pitches, right? Now it's 12, it's pitch kind of referring to pitch class, which means it doesn't care about what octave you're in. But let's say I'm playing around the circle. It would be like this. Okay, so why does this mean that you might be learning scales the wrong way? Well, because the major scale, the minor scale, and every single mode are the exact same scale. The only difference is your thinking about the scale and what you are calling the scale. That's in my opinion the best and easiest way to learn every major scale and every single key, every minor scale and every single key, and every mode all over the neck. Because we have these 7 positions that are the result of staying in a 1 finger per fret position and mapping out the major scale in one position. So the way these are organized is you have your pointer finger on the E string. This is the lowest note. This would be the root. So this is the E string right here, okay? You have your middle finger on the E string, your pinky finger on the E string, you have your pointer finger on the A string, middle finger on the A string, pinky finger on the A string, and you have one where the lowest major root is your index finger on the D string. So that means that every scale shape is finger specific where the root is. Now I'm talking about the major scale. That's kind of how that's the major scale is like the root of all music theory. You could say there's a lot of argument that could be made otherwise, because historically the major scale didn't exist before modes and so on and so forth. So I'm really about the easiest way to do this. And this is, in my opinion, the easiest way to memorize your scales. Okay, so these 7 shapes right here are every single scale all over the neck if you're talking about the major scale, the modes, okay? And the modes right here, let's take a little aside for the modes. The modes, Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, Locrian, these are just fancy words for major Ionian, or Dorian has a minor with a major 6 or a natural 6. So it's like a minor scale, but it has the 6th note of a major scale, you could say. Phrygian is a minor scale with a minor 2nd, and so on and so forth. So intervals, not necessarily part of this video, but you kind of, this doesn't even matter, really, because the simplicity of what I'm telling you is that memorize the major scale, learn the major scale, learn these modes in order. All you have to do is really know, like, how the mode applies, right? And there's all kinds of other information you could glean from YouTube and all over the internet and my book and stuff like that. So there's lots of ways that you can apply modes. But if you're just trying to learn the modes and understand the modes, this video is all you really need as far as like what they are. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, this is saying that the root, or the open circle here, is the Ionian mode, okay? The 2nd note from that, which in this particular diagram would be this note, because it's the 2nd note away. Like, this is how you read the diagrams, left to right, bottom to top. So this would be the 2nd note. So that means if you start on this note and you play this scale shape right here, you are playing a Dorian mode of whatever this was. Okay, so if this note right here is a C, then this is a D Dorian mode, okay? That means that's huge, okay? If you understand what I just said, all of these notes could represent a mode, okay? If you learn the major scale all over the neck in one key, not only have you pretty much learned it in every key, but you've also learned every single mode. You've already done the work. So here's the long and short. Learn the major scale all over the neck in one key, okay? Apply it to another key so you understand how to transfer the keys, because all these, they work the same way. And I'll show you in a second how to do that. But anyway, modes are just like, they're kind of confusing to most people, but they're actually like super duper simple. They're just the major scale starting on a different note. That's it. So learn the major scale. If I haven't said that enough, I'm going to say it again. Learn the major scale. Just do it. It is so important. Okay, so how do I learn the major scale all over the neck? Here's what you do. Make this open circle the same note and go through every single one of these. Now, if you want to go up the neck from low to high, here's how you do it. You read right to left, bottom to top in these particular diagrams. I didn't format it that way on purpose because I formatted it by the finger and the lowest string, but anyway, like, this is how you do it. Okay, so here you go. Here's a video. Okay, so I'm gonna go up the neck starting in a C scale. Okay, C major, probably the first one you should learn, because if you learn the C major scale, then you know how to play in every other key. And you can also eventually understand why keys have sharps versus flats. Okay, you can't just use sharps and flats however you want. E sharp does exist, B sharp does exist, E flat or F flat exists, and so does C flat. Okay, so the only way you can understand that is by learning the major scale in every key. Okay, so I'm going to play C major all over the neck, and I'm going to start down here. So okay, so we got our C. Now, the way that you use these to read in first position is you'll change one S to a 0, okay? And if the pointer is not stretched, like in this case, you are just playing the pointer finger, then you'll actually shift all of these 1 fret to the right. So instead of starting on my pinky on the root, which in this case is C major, I'm going to start on my 3rd finger, and this is the open strings right here, okay? So play these just plain like that. Just play them real plain and simple, up and down. Here we go. This is the next position because remember we're reading right to left, bottom to top. So it's boom, 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 going up the neck. Okay. So now instead of my ring finger being on a C, it's actually my middle finger. Because as you move your hand up, you get to the lower fingers, right? So I'm using my middle finger, I'm in 2nd position, and this open circle is still a C, right? But now I'm using my middle finger, so this is the C major shape. Boom. Okay. Now, I want to go to the next position. Let's say I know that one real well. Boom, boom. It's going to probably take you, if you're not familiar with all these positions, it's probably going to take you a lot longer than it's taken me. I've only practiced these a couple more times than everybody else. So, I'm just kidding. Because some people have practiced these probably a lot more than I have. Okay, so now that we're moving again, we're in 4th position, but I'm stretching my pointer finger in this one. So in the last one, we stretched our pointer finger just on that E string. But now we're stretching it on a lot of strings, 4 strings, E, A, D, and E, the other E, your little E. So here we go. Pointer finger on C, playing up the neck. Right, this is like the A shape. So the last one was also like the A shape from the cage system. So in the cage system, the A shape compared to my system kind of gets 2. It gets 2 shapes. So that's why there's 7 positions in the system that I'm using as opposed to 5 positions in the cage system, which is totally sufficient and fine. This is just like my protocol for, not my protocol, sorry, it's not my protocol. It's what I learned actually from the modern guitar method. It's like a Berkeley book. They have a specific way of fingering things, and I basically like came up with my own book and way of teaching those things because I think, like I said, this is a much easier way to learn. So there you have it. C major 4th position, going to the next position because we're going to go now. Oops. Here we go. And this is the next one. Because now I'm moving away, my pointer finger can't play that note anymore, so now my pinky on the E string, on the 8th fret, is playing the C, and that is going to start on the E string with my pinky. Notice the way I'm playing these scales, you know, I'm not moving my fingers a ton, you know, I'm not... I mean, I don't honestly know if that's a right or wrong thing to do. I see all kinds of really good players doing all kinds of different stuff with their left hand. But me personally, the people that I've followed as far as guitar playing goes, they don't move their fingers a whole lot when they're playing scales. But I also have seen a lot of people that move their fingers a lot and they can play some crazy stuff. So, I mean, I'll leave that up to you. So there you have it. C major. 5th position. Remember, as you're practicing these, you are also practicing the minor shape as well, and all the modes, okay? We're just the only difference right now is I'm just thinking C major, and I'm starting on C and ending on C, right? But you can think of these as any mode you want. Okay, so next one. Now I'm not using my pinky, I'm using my middle finger on the 8th fret of the E string, and this is like such a good shape. Such a good shape. It's like the E shape from the cage system. This last one was like the G shape from the caged. Right, it's such a fun one to play. I love that one. Now, E, or the E string, has the C on the pointer finger stretched, so 8th fret still. So now we have C major in 9th position with my pointer finger stretched. C is on the E string. It's like the E shape. So the E shape in this system also kind of gets two shapes. It gets this one and this one. But anyway, we have one more here, and that is what I call D index major. I'll go through those types of names here after I do this. So this is the last one before we repeat. Now we'll do the repeat too. So in 10th position, we got a C on the D string. It's like the D shape because the root's on the D string. It's like the D shape of the cage system, right? It's like you're playing a D major, but it's instead of being down here, it's right there. So I'm gonna play that a little slower. Okay, now I'm back to this shape, the one we started on, except that was in 1st position and we had to shift the numbers and it was a big pain in the butt. So now I'm up in 12th position because I no longer have this C to play. I'm playing it over here on the A string with my pinky. So now this applies just as is, right? Pinky, 12th position. So I just played all up the neck, right? I covered from here all the way to here. It's effectively the same thing up past the 12th fret because the 12th fret, everything looks the same. All the shapes just repeat themselves. As you can see, even though there's open strings here, the shapes are all the same. So there you have it. Now, why is this the right way to learn scales? Well, because what I just did, I can play in every key because I know how all of these connect to each other. Okay, the connections don't change based on the key that you're playing. It's all the same shape right here, right here. It's all the same shape. This thing, one shape. Okay, you put a C here. This all works. You put a D here, this all works. You put an E here, or F, or whatever. It doesn't matter. Now the circle of fifths, that's a whole other video because I would love to explain to people how much easier the circle of fifths is to understand, like where it comes from and why it is the way it is, like the underlying reason that it is structured the way it is, and it is a different way of explaining. So yeah, I'll do that video, but this video is just about learning the shapes, okay, and then learning the modes and all the minor scale. So let's say you went through and you practiced the major scale, just like I said you should do, and look, you have the minor root is right here. So I mean, you could just go through the same way, do the exact same thing, and practice the minor scale with all of these. And all you have to do, you've already played the shape, you've already played the finger pattern. The finger patterns don't change. All you have to do is change your thinking, okay? And in order to do that, you just have to know that C, if something's in C major, then the relative minor is A. If something is in C sharp major, the relative minor is A sharp. If something is in D major, then the relative minor is B, right? And it continues chromatically the same way. Like if you look at this shape, you just have to take the letters and plug them in right here, and that's it. So this can help you learn theory. This can help you be a much more proficient guitar player overall. If you find yourself struggling with jamming with people in different keys, anything like that, finding yourself on the fretboard and playing the right notes, this is how you solve that problem. I mean, there's tons of ways to practice it. Like, you don't have to play up and down. There's lots of other exercises that people have. But what this is going to do is it's going to at least help you memorize the shapes and know where to put your fingers, which is a big deal. So there you have it. If you want to do the modes, right? Memorize the mode names. I know they're super weird, but you'll have to find ways to memorize these modes. And that's not what this video is about. But when you do that, you can use any one of these positions, but to play the mode, right? To just if somebody's like, oh, this is in the mode of D Dorian, right? Well, you play a C major, and if you want to be in 12th position, you can do this in any position, but let's say I'm in 12th position. Now I'm playing a D Dorian. I just use that same C major shape. I'm starting on this note instead of this note. Now it's D Dorian. It's like magic. E Phrygian, F Lydian, G Mixolydian, A Aeolian or minor, same thing. And then this last one, B Locrian, that nobody ever uses ever. Just kidding. Is right there. So literally all the modes are in every single position. So positions are not modes, okay? Positions are not modes. Modes are in every single position. You use the same positions that you use to play any scale to play the modes. You already know the modes if you know the major scale. There you go. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your attention. I hope this taught you something about the guitar. Feel free to check out my book. If you want this page and you want to learn all of your major scales, click the link below and that's it. You'll get the page. You just got to give me your email disclaimer and that's it. Yeah, use this page, memorize your modes, and that's for free. If you want the whole book, you can check out my website. I really appreciate you watching. Have a great day.